Yo, what up? Toshi here. We understand how valuable healers are in Honkai Star Rail. I know it, you know it, we all know it, your grandma knows it. That's why she's probably going to pull for Luocha. So we understand that with there being a kind of drought in the amount of healers in the game currently, or abundance characters I should say, makes Bailu an extremely more valuable character. That's why Natasha is also very valuable as a free 4-star you get in the game. Not having Bailu kind of puts you at a disadvantage if you don't have anything else that can fill in the gap of said character. Being able to give tons of healing to your allies, even if you don't get all of the RNG procs on set allies, still provides tons of healing for everyone on the team, and Bailu overheals, which is very valuable at that. Her ultimate, which gives healing to the whole team by percentage of her max HP, is very valuable because a character like this, where you're really looking to just give her nothing but HP, you get tons of value the more HP you have. And then giving your allies invigoration, which gives them more HP or more healing, is very valuable with that. Invigoration, whenever an ally is hit with this buff, they get healed by a percentage of Bailu's max HP, which is very valuable considering all the healing you can get from a healer passively is always really good. And then she also gives built-in damage reduction whenever you have the invigoration, which is very nice, considering you're going to be much more tanky overall. So with a character like Bailu, you get a lot of value of building her based off of just HP, maybe some defense, speed, and resistance. I say resistance because, well, any character that heals or cleanses, you probably want to have with resistance just so they can do their job. Because, well, if your healer is debuffed or stunned, that means the rest of your team probably will be debuffed, stunned, and die also. Even with my Bailu sitting at 51% effect resistance, I still get debuffed time to time. So just letting you know, this is not even enough. I don't know how much effect resistance you actually need on the character to not get stunned or debuffed, but it probably isn't a 1-to-1 ratio in this game. Now, we understand the value Natasha brings for free-to-play players, and it's not just because of how attractive she is, but just because of the value she provides. If you are tackling Memories of Chaos, you understand what she's going to do for your team. Cleanse, heal, and cleanse, and that is going to be very valuable for you and your team because, well, if no other character is going to cleanse, well, all your team is going to get stunned, and that's not very good, is it? We understand that Natasha gives tons of healing with her ultimate. Very good. It's not as much as Bailu, however, and that's because of the nature of Natasha being a 4-star, and I mean, I really wouldn't want a 4-star to heal more than a 5-star, honestly. Having a cleanse effect with her elemental skill, which is very valuable for those allies that are debuffed. This is something Bailu can't do. Natasha does give a continuous healing effect, which is a healing whenever that ally takes their turn, and the duration of that will be increased from the elemental skill. So being able to focus down the healing on one target is very valuable. Sure reminds me a lot of Luocha, who we'll discuss later in the video. But just like Bailu, you would get a lot of value with building her just with max HP, defense, speed, and effect resistance so she doesn't get stunned. Because with her having a cleanse, you really definitely don't want her to get stunned. Now, the one thing that makes Bailu such a very strong healer is not just because of the sheer healing she provides with it being the strongest in the game, but with her having a revive with her talent. It's very valuable. Being able to revive an ally as soon as they die is going to be very good for your teams, especially if you have one character that is probably the squishiest on the team. So I have a comp centered around Seal and I have Bailu in the party. Seal is probably going to be my squishiest character. And having a healer that revives that ally whenever they die, because accidents do happen, is going to allow you to play the game much more with a brain off, which I really enjoy. Now, with Bailu being a standard banner character, you will be getting copies of this character eventually. Maybe you'll get your first Bailu if you haven't already. But she's going to provide tons of more value whenever you unlock the constellations. Being able to give your ally damage bonuses is going to be very good considering, well, if she's only just healing and she's giving skill points to the team, what else can she do? And, well, if you unlock her 4th constellation, being able to give your ally damage increases is going to be extremely good. A 30% at that. Now, what if I told you a character that scales off of attack that heals the team probably will have more value than Bailu in some situations? Maybe most situations. You see, with Luocha coming around the corner, he's going to be scaling based off of attack. And with him scaling off of attack, well, you get tons of more value with building him with crit rate and crit damage because he will effectively be a hybrid DPS. We understand a character like Bailu doesn't really get value with building her recurring crit damage. Contrary to maybe you've seen a video on YouTube, that's not going to be everyone's Bailu. However, with her being based off of HP, you get zero value building her with attack because, well, her basic attack only does damage based off of her attack, and she does her healing based off of her HP. So it's very counterproductive to build her with attack. That's where Luocha kind of stands out. You can build him as a hybrid healer, which is going to add a lot more value to your team. Let's just say you're not really going to be using his skill, so then you want to use a basic attack. You get that little bit of extra damage in that you wouldn't otherwise have gotten with Bailu. There's times where I have Bailu and I use a basic attack and I generate a skill point, but I don't get any healing and I don't do any damage because, well, I built her with full HP and no crit rate and crit damage. However, for Luocha, that will change. You will get way more value building him with damage stats because, well, he has abilities in the game. He has his ultimate and his basic attack that does damage to the enemies. So we do understand that his elemental skill is going to be like Natasha. You will cleanse a debuff from said ally, healing them for a lot of healing. He has more healing than Natasha, of course. That's just how it works as a 5-star. However, he can be skill point neutral every couple of turns whenever he uses elemental skill, which is going to be very valuable at that. Because, well, if you, let's just say you use your elemental skill in Bailu or Natasha, you don't really get to be skill point neutral because you burn your skill point. And that in turn makes it hard for your DPS to have more uptime on their skills. Now, with him being a attack scaling healer, there's one thing we have to talk about. You will get tons of value bringing a healer to Memories of Chaos Forgotten Hall. That's no joke. You need 2 teams in order to tackle this content. And 2 well-built teams at that, because where you want to achieve the 3 stars, and these enemies have tons of HP, and they do a buttload of damage. That's why you get a lot of value with having a healer on both sides. But if you don't have one, if you only have one healer, let's just say you have Natasha, then summoning for Luocha will provide you with another team that you can use in order to tackle the content if you don't have a shielder in the place of that healer. Now, there's another thing we have to mention. We do understand that there is a drought with the healers, and we understand that both healers we have in the game currently scale based off of their HP. Now, you can make an argument that because they scale off of their HP, that is a benefit more than there is a hindrance. Well, if they scale based off of their max HP, then in turn, they will be more tankier, and thus they won't be dying as easily as, let's say, Luocha. A character that is built primarily off of attack, and you really don't get as much value building him with HP. Now, what if I told you, even if he is a character that scales based off of his attack, you still get a lot of value building him with HP? Let me explain. We understand that Ting Yun scales based off of attack. Her attack gives more attack to the ally. So if you build her with as much attack as you can get, that will give the ally she gives the damage buffs to even more attack. However, over time, a lot of players have realized that that's not the proper way to build the character or to get the most value out of the character. Because essentially what you have is a character that gets hit quite often. Maybe she has higher taunt values than other characters, maybe not. It's a mystery at this point. But she does get hit pretty hard, and with her having a lot of attack and no HP, she pretty much gets deleted. So a lot of players have been building her with a lot more HP and a little less attack to substitute for her being squishy. The reason why this matters is because Bailu's 5-star light cone that you either get from the standard banner, the weapon banner, which I forbid, I hope you get the limited weapons of course, or just from the store in general from saving up your star glitter, you get a lot of value with putting this on Luocha. Not only do you increase his max HP by a percentage, and since we do understand that this is Bailu's 5-star best in slot light cone, this primarily gives more base HP than it does base attack. However, Luocha's 5-star light cone gives more base attack than it does base HP. So putting this on Luocha will give him much higher HP than it would attack. And that could be a benefit for a character that you don't want to be too squishy. So getting a higher base HP from the light cone, getting a higher max HP from the percentage of the effect of the light cone, increasing the outgoing healing for a character that primarily heals more than anything else, aside his extra stuff, and then being able to give a damage increase to an ally whenever they take their turn. That's going to be very valuable because, well, for a character that does a ton of healing at that, you will get a lot of value for whenever your DPS takes their turn. Maybe it is Blade in this case, or maybe it's a character like Seal. And the reason why I bring this up is I assume maybe some of you have lost the 50-50 on the standard banner, and instead of getting the character, you ended up getting the weapon. Now, you have a really good weapon for a really good character coming up. Let's just say that. Now, we understand that being skill point neutral is very valuable. We also do understand that being able to cleanse a debuff from an ally is very valuable. We understand that moving buffs from the enemy with the ultimate is also really valuable with that, because no other character aside from Pela can do that currently in the game. And lastly, we do understand that building a character primarily based off of attack to do the healing will result in a character that is built as a hybrid healer. And hybrid in the sense of, well, you can build him with crit rate and crit damage and still get tons of value. And with all that in mind, Luocha seems like a very overloaded healer and a very strong character at that. With him being a 5-star limited character, and seeing how Sil and Silverwolf set the precedent of limited characters to come into the future, I can't imagine Luocha being bad. Because, well, most players probably want to have 2 healers for the Forgotten Hall instead of having 1 healer and a shielder. Because I believe that shielders over time will become less and less value. But that'll be for a different video. And lastly, the domain expansion that Luocha puts onto the field can be a lot like Bailu's Invigoration in a sense. Maybe not as strong as Bailu's Invigoration, but we'll have to wait and see. And we understand that he's a very flexible character at that, because you don't really need to give him as much attack as you think you need to give him. He does get value with giving him HP because you don't want him to be that squishy. And he could take advantage of a very solid light cone that no other character in the game could use aside from Natasha and Bailu. I stream often on Twitch, twitch.tv/Toshio. The link will be in the description. Anyways, thank you for watching and have a nice rest of your weekend. Peace.